Inception begins with a dream within a dream, instantly blurring the line between reality and illusion. We meet Cobb, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, who specializes in a unique form of corporate espionage, extracting secrets from people's subconscious while they dream. The first myth surrounding Inception is that it's just another heist movie set inside dreams. But in reality, the movie is much more. It's a layered exploration of memory, grief, and the fragile boundary between reality and imagination. The concept of entering dreams isn't pure fiction. Psychologists and neuroscientists have long studied lucid dreaming, where people can become aware that they're dreaming and even control aspects of the dream. So when audiences claim that Inception invented dream control, that's a myth. What Christopher Nolan did was take real scientific ideas and amplify them into cinematic spectacle. Cobb's team, Arthur, Ariadne Eames, and Yusuf, function like a group of specialists in a high-stakes heist. Arthur, the point man, ensures everything runs smoothly. Ariadne, the architect, designs the dream worlds. Eames, the forger, can change identities inside dreams. Yusuf, the chemist, controls the sedatives that make deeper dream levels possible. But here's where myths emerge. Many people believe each character is just a convenient role for the story. In fact, Nolan based their functions on real psychological concepts. The architect mirrors how the mind builds dreamscapes from memory. The forger echoes how our subconscious often disguises people in dreams. The chemist connects to the scientific struggle of prolonging REM sleep. The movie introduces the idea of totems, small objects used by dream thieves to distinguish reality from dreams. Cobb's spinning top became iconic, but here's a hidden fact. The top originally belonged to his wife. Mal Cobb's actual totem, according to fan theories, might be his wedding ring, since he's seen wearing it in dreams but not in reality. This sparks one of the most famous myths about the film, that the ending reveals the truth through the top alone. But Nolan deliberately avoids confirming this, leaving the ending open to interpretation. Another myth worth busting is that dreams in Inception are pure fantasy. While dreamscapes are exaggerated, many scenes reflect how dreams truly feel. Time dilation, for example, is scientifically supported. Dreams can compress hours of imagined events into minutes of real time. When Yusuf drives the van in slow motion, while the team is 3 layers deeper in dreams, Nolan visualizes how the brain processes time differently. This isn't science fiction, it's grounded in research. His first stage of Inception sets up a battle between dreams and reality, but also introduces Cobb's personal struggle. His grief over Mal's death haunts him, and she appears as a projection in his subconscious, sabotaging his missions. Many viewers assume Mal is just a villain, but she represents unresolved trauma. This myth, that Mal is simply an antagonist, ignores the psychological depth Nolan layers into her character. As the story unfolds, Cobb's team prepares for their most daring mission yet, not extraction, but inception, planting an idea in someone's mind so deeply that the target believes it came from their own thoughts. Their target, Robert Fisher, heir to a corporate empire, must be convinced to break up his father's company. At first glance, this seems like pure science fiction. But here's the myth to bust: Inception isn't just a Hollywood invention. Psychologists and neuroscientists confirm that ideas can indeed be planted, through subtle suggestion, framing, and influence, though not as dramatically as Nolan shows. It's closer to subconscious persuasion than dream heists. The second layer of the movie dives into the mechanics of dreams within dreams. This is where many viewers get lost, believing Nolan simply created a puzzle for the sake of confusion. That's another myth. Nolan's dream logic is actually consistent with how the subconscious works. Each dream level magnifies emotional stakes while bending the rules of time and space. The deeper you go, the slower time passes, a concept that mirrors how REM cycles layer upon one another in real sleep. Now, let's talk about the dream levels. The first dream layer, a city where gravity and physics still feel somewhat normal. The second, a luxury hotel where Arthur's famous zero-gravity fight takes place. The third, a snow fortress reminiscent of a James Bond set piece. Some fans argue that Nolan borrowed too much from action movies, but the truth is, Each dreamscape reflects the dreamer's psyche. Yusuf imagines urban chaos, Arthur's world is structured and rigid, and Eames' dream reflects his creativity and unpredictability. This detail busts the myth that Nolan just added random action settings. Every layer is tied to character. One of the most fascinating myths revolves around the kicks. Viewers often think they're unrealistic devices invented for cinematic tension. But science backs them up. Our bodies do experience hypnic jerks, sudden muscle contractions that can wake us from dreams. Nolan took this real phenomenon and expanded it into synchronized kicks across multiple dream levels. Let's also explore the science of limbo, the unconstructed dream space. Some claim it's unrealistic to imagine a shared subconscious realm. But neuroscientific research suggests the brain struggles to differentiate dream events from real ones. That's why traumatic dreams can leave lasting emotional imprints. Cobb and Mal's decades in limbo may be exaggerated, but they symbolize how unresolved emotions can trap us in mental loops, something psychologists recognize as very real. The myth that Inception is just about dreams also misses the point. At its core, the movie is about control and belief. When Fisher accepts the idea of breaking up his father's empire, it isn't because the team forced it, it's because they crafted the idea so carefully that he owned it. This reflects real-world psychology. Ideas only take root when they align with a person's values or emotions. Visually, Nolan reinforces these myths and facts through stunning effects. One famous sequence, the folding Paris cityscape, sparked debates about whether dreams really look like that. The truth is, dreams often bend physics, but not as spectacularly. Nolan used visual exaggeration to convey the subconscious bending reality. Another example is Arthur's rotating hallway fight. Many assumed it was CGI heavy, but Nolan used practical effects, building a real rotating corridor, to enhance the realism. By this stage of the movie, viewers realize that Inception isn't just a film, it's a metaphor for filmmaking itself. Cobb acts like a director, Ariadne designs the set, Eames improvises roles, and Fisher is the audience whose emotions must be moved. The myth that Inception is a confusing puzzle box ignores this clever meta layer. Nolan isn't just telling a story, he's showing us how stories shape belief. As the team dives deeper into the final dream layer, the stakes are higher than ever. Fisher must be convinced that dissolving his father's empire is his own choice. In the Snow Fortress sequence, we see one of the most action-heavy dreamscapes of the film, but it's not random spectacle. It mirrors Fisher's relationship with his father, a cold, distant, and fortress-like bond. The myth here is that Nolan added these scenes for thrills alone. In truth, every environment is symbolic. The fortress reflects Fisher's emotional walls, which must be broken down to implant the idea. But while Fisher's arc unfolds, Cobb faces his ultimate challenge. Mal. Throughout the film, she has appeared as a dangerous projection, undermining missions and destabilizing dreams. Many viewers interpret Mal purely as a villainous figure, but the deeper fact is that she embodies Cobb's guilt. He once planted the idea in her mind that their dream world wasn't real, leading her to question reality until it destroyed her. This is Nolan showing the dark side of Inception. Ideas, once planted, can't easily be removed. One of the most persistent myths about Inception is that it's just an action film with dream logic. In reality, it's also a psychological drama about grief, guilt, and the struggle to let go. When Cobb finally confronts Mal in limbo, he realizes she is only a projection of his memory, not the real woman he lost. By accepting this truth, he can finally move forward. This is one of the movie's hidden lessons. Unresolved emotions can trap us deeper than any dream. Then comes the ending, the scene that sparked endless debates. Cobb wakes up on the plane, reunites with his team, and returns home to his children. But the spinning top, his supposed totem, keeps spinning. Nolan cuts to black before we know if it falls. The myth most people believe is that the spinning top determines the truth. But as mentioned earlier, the top was Mal's totem, not Cobb's. Many fans argue that Cobb's real totem is his wedding ring, visible in dreams but absent in reality. At the end, he isn't wearing it, suggesting he is indeed back in reality. But Nolan never confirms this, and that's the point. The truth is that Cobb doesn't wait to see if the top falls. He walks away to embrace his children. Whether he's dreaming or not becomes irrelevant. The fact is, he chooses to accept this world as his reality. This final twist shows how the movie isn't about what's real, but about what we believe. Another myth worth busting is that Inception's complexity is just to confuse the audience. Nolan actually provides all the tools to understand the story, the layered dream levels, the kicks, the role of each team member. The challenge is intentional. The film makes us question reality just as the characters do. In doing so, Nolan turns the audience into participants of the Inception itself. On a symbolic level, Inception can also be seen as a metaphor for cinema. Cobb is the director, crafting the vision. Ariadne is the production designer, creating the sets. Eames is the actor, transforming identities. The audience is Fisher, emotionally invested and unaware of the mechanics behind the illusion. The film argues that movies themselves are a kind of inception, planting ideas in our minds so deeply that we carry them beyond the theater.